You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Grimm After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Grimm After Show. It's the final countdown.
It is. Although not really a countdown because we're there.
Yeah.
It's the Grimm finale, episode 322, Blond Ambition.
Oh, that blonde.
Her ambition will kill us all.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die, you guys. Guys, thank you for tuning in. It is the finale of Grimm. It was so awesome.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was
I
so
loved every
great.
second of it.
I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Joining me on tonight's finale panel, we have the lovely Yael Tygiel
Hello, everyone.
and the wonderful Dillon Chance.
Hello.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get into the story. This intense, dramatic. All right.
It's an illusion.
Thank you to our engineer Stephen Lemieux for that thrilling countdown.
That was actually me singing it, just so you know. Totally.
I'm impressed.
I am impressed.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to see how impressed I am because I'm sporting sunglasses. So you cannot see the true darkness.
Hey, Zach, take
beneath
the
them.
sunglasses off.
Oh.
Yeah, you put him in his
Hey.
face, Stephen.
Trubel needed those.
Yeah, she really could have.
She
she
could
really
use
could have,
those.
but that's way down the storyline.
okay.
We're going to start out with the quote this week.
Yeah.
Turn back, thou pretty bride. Within this house thou must not abide, for here do evil things betide.
Nice.
Yeah, that one was fun to read because there's rhyming and stuff. That one, for those of you curious, it is from a Brothers Grimm fairy tale, The Robber Bridegroom, which is about a young miller's daughter who is betrothed off to some random guy that her father meets, and he's like, oh, he seems like a good guy. He's dressed nice. I don't know where he lives or what he does, but let's marry you off to him. And it turns out that he's from a family of cannibals.
Oh.
And she finds out after she goes into the forest, and they're like, girl, and basically a bird comes out and is like, girl, get out of here. You're gonna die if you stay.
You gonna get eaten.
And then she runs away.
Well, I'm glad her father at least found her someone to love.
Aww.
But this, it's appropriate because there's a big wedding. We don't know what's going to happen. And then Nick has some sexy times with somebody he doesn't quite know a lot about. Unfortunately, even though he thinks he does. Oof. But let's jump right into the episode itself. We open on the wedding rehearsal.
Yeah, we do.
Which, it's going very well. They seem to be getting it all, which is, of course, never a good sign.
What do you mean?
They knew what to do. The rehearsal went smoothly. The planner was like, take off those sunglasses. Or what's the deal with those sunglasses?
That was
Yeah, that was funny.
hilarious.
That was great. Every single person was like, oh, no, he's got optical problems,
It's-
light sensitivity.
That's something we had talked about last week, about how there's no way that no one's going to question it. And then they were like, hey, this is something I know you're concerned about. We're going to take care of it in the first minute.
I'm glad that someone questioned it.
Yeah.
But like everybody.
But everyone
was.
gave him an excuse.
Okay, he can wear them.
I wonder, it was the wedding planner?
No,
Vesson?
I don't think so.
I think they planned their own wedding, didn't they?
The woman who was there running the thing.
Oh.
She's kind of a wedding planner efficient.
I'm just calling her the wedding planner. I'm not sure what her exact role was, but either way. So they're kicking it off, and then we jump over to Renard, who's like, where's Adalind? He's like, woo, need you on this. track her down. Woo's not suspicious in the slightest.
Not
'cause
yet.
Not the fact that like everybody knows she was dating Hank for a little while. She's been dating the captain.
She came in that one time and threw a hissy fit.
She was a murder suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think, I don't know, Woo, start putting these puzzle pieces together
He
early.
does.
Well, he does towards the end, but I think
Woo's
just
clues.
oh, fantastic.
That should be a summer web series that
That
they
should
do.
be. Woo's clues.
But then just as we're searching for her, Adalind is there taking another hit off the witch bomb.
Yeah, she is.
And she turns back into Juliette. So creepy. So creepy.
Did you see the shipping name? Adalind.
Adalette? How's that a shipping name?
I don't know. That's what they said.
She's just transforming into her.
Yeah, but they needed something to call her because it's not Juliette and it's not.
Oh, okay, so it's not a shipping
Right,
name.
well,
It's
It
you
was
know.
what to call her, but I agree that is a great
Adalind.
Adalette.
Adalette.
Well, and then there's Radalind.
Yeah.
Which I heard for the
I saw
first
that one,
time.
too.
Anyway, and then just to like put all the pieces on like the table, basically, they're set up what's going on. We go over to Western Stewart, who is he takes out a Canadian passport. He like hid this little like James Bond pack. It looks like it's like a bathroom kit that you would take on vacation,
Yeah.
but inside he's got money and passports to like 5 different countries.
He's like Jason Bourne.
And the Canadian passport had the name Walter Rathenauer. Just so we all know.
Okay.
Okay.
It might
Walter
come,
Rathenauer.
It might come in handy next
If we ever see
season.
that name again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna come in handy.
We're ever gonna see that name.
It just might come in handy.
It might, or it might just be linked to a deceased man.
Well, they said at the end when they found, not to skip ahead, but when they do get the body, they say, hey, it was FBI agent Weston.
Oh,
He
yeah,
had
they-
a passport. I'm just saying that if he has that passport, that means he's an alias, which means that there might be other things that come up that he's done. I'm just saying.
Well, I have my own theory about what that's all going to connect to, but we'll get to that once
Okay.
we get to the investigation
Just
scene.
keep that name.
A ton of stuff
in your head.
It's definitely setting up stuff for the future,
All right.
unquestionably. But he's not in the future. He's
No.
gone. And then we get we go back to the wedding, and we get a really nice speech from Monroe's dad.
Yeah.
It was a little cornball, a little like, here you go, reformed racist.
He like 3 times, I think, in this episode was like, hey, I'm a reformed racist.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm better now. Hey,
But it
I've
was,
come to terms.
but it was touching, especially for Monroe,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great to hear him like he was like, I can respect Nick, because after the fight that after they were like saving each other's lives, you have to respect the guy.
Yeah.
And he like finally truly welcomes Rosalee in after we saw the weird just like sniffing thing between Rosalee and Monroe's mom.
Yeah, they never showed that again. I wish.
No,
the
they
dad
just went
would've had to
away
do it.
after that. They just had to do it. And then it was okay. Everyone's cool.
We're all cool, guys. We're all cool.
Juliette's speech was fun. I particularly enjoyed how proud she was of being able to pronounce Kersite Schlishkennen, because that's how I feel every week when I come on this panel.
I thought about you when she said it. I was like, oh, Zach's gonna
Yep.
be so happy.
Well, that's how I feel. These are hard words to pronounce. Hundjäger, Zauberbeast,
Bauerschwein.
Yeah, these are not easy to pronounce.
Yeah, made up German words are hard.
Hey, that ain't cool. They're
Oh.
German. They're German delicious words.
They're made up German words.
They're great words.
It's a romance language.
It's a romance language.
It's a made up romance language.
9.
Anyway, and Juliette's like very much like she's a part of this community. Her and Hank are just as much a part as any of the Vesson, even though they can't be part of it. And we do get a little tease with the sister getting a little drunk.
Deanna. That girl.
Deanna.
She's a
Always
wino.
causing problems. She's a what?
A wino.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you said rhino for a second. I was like, no, she's a foospow.
Similar.
And then like we know where Juliette is when we see
Adalette.
show up at Renard's door
Yeah, when she goes to test if
in
it
that
works.
slinky blue dress.
I got so angry
Do you
as
think
it
if
started.
Monroe was around, he could have smelled Adalind?
Yes.
It's a good question. I think so.
I think you would have smelled that it's not Juliette.
You think so?
I don't know
Or
if he
maybe
would-
it disguises everything. Scent, everything. Because it did voice.
Well,
it
but
does-
I think with modern day or whatever, Juliette probably wears some sort of perfume or
True.
something that gives off a unique smell that only she would have.
Right.
But if you're not a blute bot,
Right. Or
Like-
a Hoonjäger.
you're probably not able to sense all that. I imagine. And you just see a person. I don't
Right.
think, even if you did smell something a little off, you're like, oh, it's a different perfume today. You don't think, that must be a totally different person.
But-
Although at a certain point, you kind of have to suspect Adalind might be up to something.
Yeah. But he has smelled Adalind before, too.
Yeah.
These are wild theories, anyways.
Yes.
I don't know how. Here's my question. How did Renard not call Nick and Juliette and be like, by the way, heads up, Adalind was at your place. I had to break in to stop her. That's why there's a broken vase on your floor.
Well, he cleaned up the broken vase because she said Juliette asked where it was and it's missing. So the
Yeah.
vase isn't broken on the
Okay.
floor.
I agree with you. He should have told him, like,
But,
look,
like,
I
how
showed
does
up
he-
to stop her. She's going crazy right now. You
Yeah.
guys better be on your toes.
Well, he
How do you-
did tell Juliette when she came over.
After? How do
Yeah.
you not immediately call Nick and be like, Nick, I'm in your house. Adalind was in here for some reason. I don't know.
Stole some stuff, incling a nightie and hair.
and attacked me.
Yeah.
So watch out. Yeah,
Right?
I don't
all
know.
right, that's my question for all that. But we just, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth in this episode. We get Nick and Julie. The sister keeps drinking as the party goes down.
Oh dear.
It's just like this is not going to end well
What, her
for
drinking?
anyone.
I love when they come back from the rehearsal dinner and she's like, so let's get more wine. And Rosalee is like, okay, like, you're my sister. I'm getting married. Let's get
Well,
drunk.
it's like-
It was a very nice, touching idea. And
Yeah.
then she gets wasted.
Wasted until she wakes up in Rosalee's wedding gown.
Well, while she was drunk, you skipped while she was drunk.
Oh, yeah. Well,
The important part.
they find her
Yeah.
later that night.
Drunk in the wedding dress. And she's-
Wine all over the chest.
Arm sleeves ripped off.
And she explains why that dress is evil.
It's been, she's been married in it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is the thing with like family heirloom dresses. Like everybody's worn them for better or for worse.
Yeah, but I think that if I'm right, I don't know. I believe the tradition is that if like the dress has been worn and the wedding didn't last, you don't keep wearing that dress because it's now a bad luck charm as opposed to a good luck
Well,
charm.
there's where her mistake was second time around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to throw that thing away. Burn it at the stake. Do whatever it takes.
yeah.
Bury it in the ocean with some weights. There's ways to take care of this, is all I'm
You
saying.
need to weight the dress down.
I don't know.
I think burning
Make
it was
sure
the
it
best
sinks
way.
to
Yeah, I
the.
think
You got to
burning
make
was
sure
fine.
it sinks to the bottom. See, that doesn't like Jumanji wash up on shore. In some foreign places, are
Jumanji.
cursing.
Well, cursed
some,
things will do that anyways.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
so
so
much you
she
can do.
wakes up.
she wakes up and Rosalee's face was amazing. Just blind stare, like I don't know what to do now. I don't even know how mad to be.
I love that they went to get her something pretty.
Yeah. Because I thought that dress sucked.
That dress
anyways.
was so ugly. I remember the first time we saw her in it, and I was like, why? I get that it's a family thing, but like, alter it.
Yeah.
Make it pretty.
You're not happy with they're all German ancestry stuff. They gotta have the traditional.
I'm not a fan of.
They're
old
not
school
traditional.
Dresses. Yeah, they're not traditional. Why should they have a traditional dress?
Gotta have a piece.
Okay.
Something old.
They have Monroe's family to be the traditional stuff.
To be the something. I thought you meant to be the something,
old.
old.
Yeah, his dad, who's super old fashioned. Except for in this episode, he is a reformed bigot.
Yes.
Yeah, but so they take Rosalee out to get a new dress,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very nice. And the father is like, "I'll pay for it. Don't
Yeah, that was
worry about the
nice.
$7,200."
Pocket change. And Monroe's family is loaded.
Yeah, what the F?
I mean, they didn't really go into it, but sure. I mean, $7,200 is not like it's not like it was a $50,000 dress, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got 50 grand."
Yeah,
lying around."
but
Still, to just drop that on a whim.
She was like, oh, I can't afford it. We can. Can you? Why
didn't
are you
even have to
paying for
think
the
about it.
rest of this?
I don't know. Look, I think isn't the bride's family supposed to pay for it?
It depends on the tradition.
All right. Well, either way, he paid for it, and it was very nice. It was again another like show of like he's over his racism, his bigotry.
And then
Specious.
Monroe tells Dia what he really thought of the dress.
We both hated that dress.
Yeah, best line of the night.
Yes.
That was your best line of the night.
No, it was
We
just a
hated
good
that dress.
night. It was a good line.
Well, so then everybody's getting ready for the wedding. At this point, we see what everyone's up to, because after Nick and Juliette left the wedding rehearsal, they come back to find Trubel making trouble.
She's trying to make dinner.
She was
not
making
trouble.
bacon.
She tried to make dinner, but she just made trouble.
Yep.
The house is on fire when they return. How did she catch bacon on fire?
Grease.
You'd have to really try to get the fire in the pan.
Well,
I assumed the fire was outside of the pan.
I've seen people make grease fires before.
It was,
And then they're tricky to put out.
it's an impressively bad
Yes.
attempt at cooking.
Yeah.
She just wants to do something nice because I think what Trubel's really struggling with this at this point is she's never relied on anyone before but herself. She's been her own person. She's had to be. She's been forced to be by herself on the streets, taking care of herself her whole life. And now she's relying on Nick and Juliette, and that's so uncomfortable. That has to be super uncomfortable. What do you guys think was like going through her head at this point?
I mean, I think that she knows that she's getting used to this family, I guess, that she's never had. And I think her idea of trying to cook was that she feels like she needs to give back in some way because at this point she has no way to give back.
Yeah, she wanted to just show some appreciation. Like, thank you guys for taking care of me. Look, I made you dinner.
And it's when they're preparing. Nick's like, we can order you takeout before we leave for the wedding because they can't have trouble at the wedding. Like it's bad enough to have one Grimm there without having to explain, oh, these two people have light sensitivity issues,
Both
so
of
they
them.
need to wear sunglasses. Don't even think about it.
Also, she's not related to anybody. She's nobody's friend from work. Who is this weird girl showing up with
They could always
glasses?
just say that she's like Nick's niece or something.
Yeah, I think there are ways around that. But
I'm
like,
just saying, it would be even weirder.
Light sensitivity runs in the family. This is my niece.
Done.
there you go. There you go. Explained away.
Yep.
But wait, don't forget about the line Juliette says. Just casually, she says, I love bacon.
Oh yeah.
That comes back.
It's a very important. At first, I was like, yeah, we all love bacon.
Yeah, we
I
all
don't
love
know
bacon.
why. It's as long as it's not out of a Bauerschwein.
I made that joke. When she started the fire, I tweeted, I said, I bet Trubel could make some bacon out of Bauerschwein. Nobody liked it.
Probably does not.
No. It's
Yeah,
not
'cause that sounds like it tastes awful. Bauerschwein are disgusting. Sorry to any Bauerschwein who happen to be listening to this podcast.
Moving on from the bacon.
But so then, like, the next morning, as everyone's getting ready, Juliette's gone out. Nick is just going up at his room, like, you know, getting ready. He's got some time to kill, like, because, you know, us guys, it takes maybe like 20 minutes to get ready for a wedding.
All
20
right.
minutes
So
tops.
here's where I had some technical issues.
Uh-oh.
All right. Juliette has gone out to get her hair done, which we later find out. And Nick thinks that she came back from getting her hair done and then was like, hey, let's do it, even though I just paid money to get my hair done. No, that's going to destroy your hair. Then he gets dressed and she disappears, comes back with new, even better hair, right? Which they just laid on her hair.
Look, as a guy,
Wait, I'm not done. And then, hold that thought. And then he's dressed and he's like, okay, get dressed. We have to leave soon. She's like, yeah, we have to leave in like 10 minutes. I'm like, sweetie, if you have to leave in 10 minutes, you should have been there 30 minutes ago to get dressed and do your makeup and do whatever else you need to do.
she did her makeup at the hair place.
Yeah, her makeup was done.
Yeah, but you don't do makeup at a hair place.
I'm just going to say, as a guy, here's the thing. As a guy, I understand in principle that hair could be like 4 hours to do or whatever. It could take a long time. I also have a feeling that, like, half the time I see a woman who just came out of jogging and I'm like, your hair looks amazing right now.
And also, if someone walks into the room and does what she does, you don't question it.
Yeah, and I don't think he's really looking at the hair at that point.
Well,
I know
then-
I wasn't.
Yeah, but then when she comes back in, he's like, oh, I liked your hair the way it was also. So, like,
Well, he's thinking back, and it's like...
Right, but so he thinks that she came in and then went to get her hair done and came back like 10 minutes later?
Yeah, that's why I said, oh, that was fast.
He's surprised, but he's not questioning it. Again, it's about, like, the mind can make up reasons for all of this to make sense. Even if, because he's in a rush, they're trying to get to the wedding, he's distracted. He's not questioning at the moment the fact that, oh, she got her hair done in 20 minutes. It's just, that's what it was. He saw Juliette. He was with Juliette in multiple senses of that term. There's no reason to question it in his mind. Why should he? Maybe because they're living in this magic world where crazy stuff's happening all over the place.
I'm just saying there are lots of things. There are lots of questions.
There are, I mean, there's with any of those shapeshifter storyline, there's always like, whoa, why didn't you just smell her? Why didn't you
just time-wise.
Didn't she have some different moves in the bed?
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's
Didn't she come on a little rough there? A little more so than Juliette usually does?
Yeah, she's
well,
trying
she was
something
in a
new.
romantic
The
mood
point
because of the
is-
wedding.
See?
There are just little things,
Weddings are
especially
like
because of the wedding.
oysters.
Yeah.
Especially because of the wedding. She shows up and they have like 10 minutes to get ready. Then she wouldn't have been like, now is a good time for us to do
Okay.
it because there's
Well,
a wedding we have to
okay.
get to. I'm just,
As a man, you don't question. You just when she comes out,
You go.
When you see when your girl comes out of the bathroom looking like that, you don't stop to think or question what's going on.
and
You
that is
accept it
why,
as fate?
and that is why you end up sleeping with a shapeshifter that's not really your girlfriend.
Well,
I'm just saying it could happen to anybody.
it could.
But we skipped over,
And it's not
I'm sorry,
my fault.
We accidentally skipped over
apologize.
the trailer, moving the
Yeah.
trailer,
Oh, yeah.
which Nick is like, we have to move the trailer, and that's great. It's a good idea. Should probably move it every couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of woods. I don't know about that one.
The worst
How
place to move it to.
far
Like,
is he going to
first of
have
all,
to drive
he-
every single time he goes to that trailer?
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. First of all, he bought a piece of land in like the woods of Portland. So, like that's weird in itself.
Yeah.
It's also going to be registered in his name.
Yes,
so anyone
I thought about that, too.
And everyone across the world knows Nick Burkhart at this point. Like people are just randomly showing up asking for him.
Mm-hmm.
His name is out there.
They
Unless-
already have people in the FBI. They
Yeah.
look up his name. They go, "Yeah, he owns this piece of land out in the middle of the woods." Let's go
He,
check
he
that
better have like registered it under a fake name that's like meager, like Grimm, like jumbled.
You're so cute.
out. Oh, my
Or
God.
something like, because it's going to be easy trackable. Plus, when it's in a trailer park of like other trailers, inconspicuous in the middle of the woods, totally conspicuous.
Yeah.
If I
That
saw a
was my
trailer in the
thought.
middle of the woods and there's no one around, I'd be like, I kind of want to see what's in
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna go check it out.
That was my thought, is that in a trailer park, there's security. You have to be registered. You have to have a reason to be there. In the middle of nowhere, you stumble upon a trailer. Oh, I'm going to open it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
break in. There's clearly no one around
Yep.
and no one to see me do it.
Exactly. But while they're there, they start talking about like Nick's feeling trouble and more about what's going on, about all the like about his parents, how his dad wasn't a Grimm, his mom was. He met his mom, even though he grew up thinking she was dead. Trubel never thought that her parents were Grimms, I think, until this moment. She didn't like connect all those dots, just flying by the seat of her pants kind of thing. Never thought, oh yeah, one of my parents had to have been a Grimm.
Yeah.
And now I wonder if that'll ever, like similar to Nick, if it'll come back and she'll find out that one of her parents is actually alive.
I
don't
assume-
think so.
Not to jump ahead, but I'd assume that her thought was, and if it's not her thought, then this might be it, that one of her parents, who is a Grimm, probably, I'm going to assume, abandoned her because they couldn't raise her because they had to go be a Grimm.
Right.
The way Kelly did.
Well, they set it up that she was killed by the troll Vesson.
Yeah, she said she saw her parents
They
killed
could
by
have
that big
easily
troll.
been just killed by a Vesson as well for being Grimms.
Especially those big troll things.
Yeah, and she just escapes in that whole process. I mean, there's a lot to go on there, and we're going to get into the second half of this episode because there's so much to talk about, especially what happens after the moment of boom sex, which is going to be a continuing theme here at AfterBuzz. It's just boom, sex.
sex.
That's how it works on television.
Okay.
Boom
Especially
sex.
Grimm.
But now, boom, iTunes.
Nice.
Segue.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to this all season. We only jumped on in mid-season, but this has been one of the most fun AfterBuzz shows for us to do every week. We all love Grimm. We know you love Grimm if you're listening to this. We know you love AfterBuzz TV. So I bet you're asking, I love this thing. How do I help you guys out?
Make us bacon.
That would be nice, but I have a feeling shipping it here wouldn't do so well in the mail.
Okay, don't make us bacon.
But
Something
go
else.
on to iTunes and rate us and give us a comment. We're going to be off for the summer. We'll be back when Grimm starts back up, but it is still so helpful for you to go in and review the show. It helps raise the water level of this show, but of all of AfterBuzz. It helps keep us on the front page of iTunes. Helps keep other people. Other people find the show. Share it with your friends. Do your friends a favor and tell them about this podcast.
Dang.
Because it helps us get fantastic guests in as well, which if you missed it this week, midweek we had Sasha Royce come on for a special Spotlight On interview. It was fantastic. We spent about a half hour with him and we got to know about his career up till now. We got to pick his brain about Captain Renard and everything. I wish we'd been able to talk to him after this episode that I know what happened.
Would've been good.
But it was a fantastic interview. Go check it out. It's on YouTube and it'll be on iTunes soon as we're having some server issues, but it will be up online soon. Check it out. It was a great interview. It was a pleasure for us to do it. And we can get more guests like that on next season if you guys help us out. The other way you can help us out is by tuning into the season finale this Tuesday of Chasing Maria Menounos. It's going to be on Tuesday at 10:30 on Oxygen. Maria Menounos, our executive producer, and Kevin Undergaro, the other executive producer, the reality show about the behind the scenes of their life. It's a great window into what they're up to. We're having fun watching it all season. The finale is Tuesday. It's going to help everyone here at AfterBuzz if they get a second season. So tune in, watch it live, because it'll help everyone out. Let's get back to Grimm.
Before we get back to Grimm,
I have shout-outs.
You have shout-outs.
I do, and I apologize.
and I have a reminder for the shout-outs. For our fans, we are trying to get 100, that is just 100, reviews on iTunes.
We're at the magic number 33 right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you have until July, even though this is the last new episode this season, but you have until July to write a review, not just a star rating, but write a review, because in July I will be at Comic-Con and I will be stalking the cast for us.
Yeah.
So do it.
But yeah, we're at 33. I love that number. That was my hockey number.
And you have
That was my number in
a special
college.
invite from Sasha, too.
I do.
So.
That's true. Sasha said that I can come and stalk him.
Yeah, so it's not stalking. You have permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to give a shout out to Diver Dog 63. He says, an awesome podcast for an awesome show. 5 stars. I just discovered this podcast recently and I love it. Great discussion and insights from the hosts. Love Grimm, and it's great to be able to extend the enjoyment by listening to this podcast. I love that they bring up things I sometimes missed or validate things I noticed. If you love Grimm, you'll love this podcast.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you,
really
Diver
sweet.
Dog. JM Rowe Green. Butchering names. Best Grimm podcast out there. Love the show. It makes my Monday mornings at work go by a little bit faster. Keep up the good work.
Nice.
And
sweet.
CCA 3340, did you notice that Monroe's mom and the rogue FBI agent were mother and son in the movie E.T.?
Oh.
I did not notice
I did not
that.
notice that either.
That is a deep cut reference there.
Yeah.
I think it was probably just an accident, but they probably got to high five at some point on set.
I feel like they probably weren't on set at the same time, but
You
I
never
hope
know.
they were.
At the after party.
Yeah,
they
the rap
high-fived. All right.
Yeah, the rap party. They were partying up. Anyway, let's get back into the
Yeah.
show. Because right after, boom, sex, Juliette comes back.
Yep.
And all she sees, because she has no idea, she sees Nick coming out of the shower. She sees her nightie on the floor. Not where it should be, but on the floor. And the bed is a strew.
Wait, so Nick comes out of the shower. I'm sorry, just really quickly. Nick comes out of the shower when she comes in, yes?
I believe so.
So the shower that he entered when Adalind was leaving, he believes that she left, got her hair done while he took a shower.
Hey, maybe he took a nice
Look,
20,
again-
I'm just saying.
25-minute shower.
I just want that pointed out. That's all. Moving on.
Again,
we skipped a scene. Trouble.
Trubel and Nick.
No, when Adalind was leaving.
That's right. That's right.
Because that happened right before Juliette came back.
Yeah, I mean, after all the stuff that's going on with the weird phone calls from Renard and from Adalind, like Juliette's like, what's going on? She's just super frustrated with everything. But Trubel actually sees this Juliette in a red dress leaving
In a hurry.
out of the apartment. And she says, I hate bacon.
Oh. Okay, so this is pretty funny. I saw one of the Grimm writers was tweeting, and it was that scene where she said, I hate bacon. And it was later Trubel was saying, yeah, I saw Juliette, and she said, I hate bacon, which is weird because earlier she said she loved bacon. But when he tweeted it out, he used Trubel's line, Juliette says she hates bacon, which is weird. End of sentence. Because that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not a person.
Something's wrong.
My thought was, yeah, Adalind would be the one person who doesn't like bacon. She would.
Now we hate her again. Like, for a while, we were, like, sympathizing with her because she had a kid and she lost her kid. And you're like, oh, poor Adalind. But now she hates bacon? No.
She's out.
I say no to that.
This whole episode with her phone calls and with the sleeping with and the Renard is still in love with you, Juliette, and then being Juliette and sleeping with Nick, all of that, I was like, what is this high school drama? Like, all of a sudden, Adalind has turned into this, like, snotty high school girl who's like, well, I heard that he's in love with you, and if he's in love with you, then you should be concerned because your boyfriend's not going to like it, and I'm going to sleep with your boyfriend? Oh, my goodness. It was so obnoxious.
It's so true. She even calls us like, look, if he tries anything, I can make you, like, a mystical pepper spray.
Exactly.
You
Or whatever.
can spray him
That's what
down
it was.
below.
Yeah.
What?
You gotta spray
It's sort
him,
of like
just not
pepper
in his
spray,
face.
but like lower, and then it's ridiculous. But I mean, it's all war. I mean, this is the ultimate. It's like It's just Mean Girls on a Grimm level.
Yes.
But Trubel follows her and sees Juliette get into a cab and leave. And then she goes back, and there's Juliette.
Well, before she goes back, she sees Juliette get into a cab, and then about a minute later, the cab now has a blonde in it,
Dun, dun,
wearing
dun.
the same dress.
Yeah, I love the first cab driver's face when he just turns around and he's like, what?
I like that Adalind smiled, like, like, I don't know what you're looking at.
I mean, if I can't imagine if you're taking like a passenger in your car and then you're just like, oh, well, first of all, was he not looking in his rearview mirror ever? Because you can see your back seat in your rear view.
Honestly, I was surprised that he even noticed. What cab driver notices who he picks up? There's a person in the back seat. I don't look at them.
You notice when you pick people up who's getting in.
Would you notice if he was a hot brunette who, by the end, was a hot blonde?
Especially if it was a hot brunette.
Who turned into a hot blonde.
Would you notice that she was actually blonde? I would. Maybe it's just me and hair color. I would have been like, oh, I was wrong, and not have noticed.
No, because you see that hot girl getting in and you're like, sweet. And then you get there and like, wait, that's
Different
not the
hot
hot girl that I picked up.
Maybe you missaw.
The hot girls you see even more.
Okay.
They're more memorable.
I'll trust
anyway. So, but then Nick and Juliette are having this back and forth. And Juliette, what could possibly be going through her mind? I have to imagine she thinks Nick slept with Trubel.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Trubel was up there wearing her
You
90.
didn't think so? Who else would have that has to be her first thought, because there's an attractive younger woman living in your house
who has like very common traits as your boyfriend. Like they share something very special.
Which
together.
that was always what I thought. If they had done the Grimm, another Grimm storyline earlier, like if it had happened at like the beginning of season 2 or like the end of season 1, that had to have been what would have happened. Is Nick meets a female Grimm, and they actually did the storyline in the comics at one point. Was he meets another Grimm, and they're like totally like there's a vibe because they're both Grimms, and you don't meet a lot of other Grimms,
Right.
especially other attractive Grimms. I have to imagine.
I always thought of her as a little sister to him,
And that's
this isn't
absolutely-
Game of Thrones.
But that's absolutely what she is,
Right.
and that's how Nick sees it. But when you come into your not quite marital bed to see that clearly something happened in here.
And
The
there's
puzzle
lingerie on the
pieces are
ground.
all
Yeah.
there. That Nick had sex with somebody. There's an attractive woman there down the hall.
See, I would have assumed something much naughtier happened, and I'll leave it at that.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Am I okay? I would have assumed Sorry, listeners who have prudish ears. I would have assumed that he was using her sexy teddy
Oh.
while he pleasured himself.
For solo time?
Yeah. That's
No
what I would
way.
have assumed.
I'm with you, Zach. My first mind was she thinks that him and Trubel were getting it on.
Yeah,
Those of you that can't see me right now
You're
that are
perplexed.
listening to it, I'm giving Yael this bizarre stare because I can't. I don't think that's Nick in the slightest. I think it's much more likely that he hooked up with
But
the.
he slept
the
with the little girl who's just like a little sister to him.
She's 19.
She's, I think, actually 21. But
Well, I mean, in real life, but in the show,
in the
isn't
show.
she's only 19? I think.
Yeah, she's very young.
Yeah, she's young.
But she's of age.
But
she's
yeah.
attractive, and like, yes, Juliette wouldn't have thought that before.
yeah, but why would she have put on Juliette's teddy?
Nick said, "Wear this."
Because she doesn't have one of her own.
That's
She
true,
wouldn't
too.
need one.
Whatever. Okay? In this imaginary scenario, let's do this real quick because we
Yeah.
still have a lot to talk
Yeah.
about. Like maybe Trubel like goes in there, takes the nightie, and tries to seduce Nick, much
Yeah,
the way that
see.
Adalind did.
Right.
That makes
yeah.
sense as like a.
Wait, you're saying that my theory doesn't make sense? Because
No.
No.
it
doesn't.
totally makes sense.
No one does that.
Maybe if the show was set in like. Totally. I don't even know where to go with that thought.
okay. So not only did he take the teddy, but then he like rolled around in the bed with it, throwing
She's
covers
saying
around.
he put it on. We're not keep.
I didn't
no,
say
no,
he
no.
put it on.
I'm putting a stop to this now. We're
I
moving.
never said he
we're
put it on.
moving on. We're moving on.
It's not what I meant.
We are moving on. They get to the wedding.
Uh-huh.
They get to the wedding. Nick forgot his sunglasses.
He had one job.
One job. Nick.
No, he had two
job.
jobs.
Yeah,
he
hold
had
the
to
ring.
remember the ring, which is way more important if you think about it.
Not at that
I don't
wedding.
think so. Yeah.
I love that Monroe is freaking out, and he's like, "Oh, we forgot the ring. Great, we can't have the wedding."
Yep.
That's it was a very real, just like panic moment. He's like, "Oh, an excuse, great. Oh, we forgot the sunglasses. Oh, we definitely." The dad's like, "I got it covered." How did nobody else there have sunglasses?
I feel like they just didn't ask anyone else. I feel like I'm sure there's someone else that they could have asked who didn't have prescription sunglasses.
Like, I just feel like Hank probably had sunglasses,
Yeah.
or at least like in the car.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody else had sunglasses. They just didn't ask.
Yeah. But so, like, they're getting ready for the wedding, and on the way, like, Juliette accuses Nick. I'm sorry, we keep bouncing back because this is such a full episode. They have that moment where Nick's like, "What are you talking about?" Because he's having a good day. He's like,
Yeah.
"I just got laid. I'm going to my best friend's wedding."
I'm really glad that she brought it up then and there.
Yeah.
It would have been really obnoxious to like
Wait till the wedding.
not just wait to the wedding, but like have that just be something that she's holding on to and she's being all like passive aggressive, and that later we'll get to it. I'm glad they brought it up.
Yeah, but it's like it's one of those. It's that thought of like, can you blame Nick for not knowing? How could he possibly have known? But it still sucks. Like you have to like, those feelings are there. That hatred is there.
I think my favorite part was when she was like, "Nick, it wasn't me," and like it hit him that she was like saying, "I know you think it was, but it wasn't." And I feel like he can't. She hooked up with Renard.
Did they ever
Remember?
sleep together?
I don't
No,
know if
I don't think so.
No, but it was weird, and they did stuff.
You know, it's a very similar. I guess it's very similar situation of like in terms of blame is like, it wasn't your fault. Mm-hmm. You still did stuff that I can't forget.
Yeah. And again, it's Adalind's fault.
Yep.
In a way, Nick was raped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not in a way.
And I, in a way,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
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 100%.
In a way, it was almost like he got roofied.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. It's like one of those. It's the weird things that can only happen in a show with magic.
It was Hex and Beast rape.
Yeah. It was
and so-
non-consensual.
yeah. Well, that's where it's like hazy with
It's
the magic, but
non-consensual because he
'cause-
would never have
no,
consented.
He would've- yeah, not with Adalind.
Yeah.
it's true. It's true.
Hex and rape.
And then she rightfully says, "I'm gonna be sick."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to be sick.
It's ugh.
So wait
just
a
think
mi-
about that Hex and Beast face.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So him sleeping with her is what ultimately changed him.
That's what started it. We talked about this last week. My theory on it was that, and let's get into this once we get to that reveal, because then Renard, like they're at the wedding and like they've got the ceremony going and everything. Nick's up on stage with he can't see anything.
Yeah.
And Renard is like, after he pieces all this together, he's gone to the storage unit. He's figured out what the witch bong does, and he's like, because he can read all the old German stuff.
Yeah.
Because just like Sasha Roy's, he can read lots of languages.
Yes.
And he translates, and then he knows like from that recipe book like what the solution is to fix it.
Yeah.
But he gets in the. He like gets in the car. He's like rushing over there. Like Nick's not answering his phone because he's at a wedding. And he busts in and there's trouble. And I hadn't even connected the fact that these two characters have not interacted yet.
Yeah.
Not since she was in custody.
Yeah, but I don't even think they interacted at that point.
No.
Just because she was at the police station. And that's when stuff goes crazy. He's like, you have to get this to Nick at the wedding, or like, I'm going to take this to Nick at the wedding. Like, where is it? And before he can, just as he gets out the door, bam, 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 4 to the chest. Oof. And we're all like, no! This is literally how it went down. It was us yelling no in unison as it aired. We were just in different places.
Yeah.
Oh,
you could hear us around the entire
I wasn't
city.
shouting. I definitely went. That's it.
I think I said.
But it's Weston Stewart.
Curse words, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Weston Stewart shows up and just shoots Renard in the chest. Like he's been trying to take him out. We know that he has a vendetta against him, and he's really wanted to kill him. And he just takes him down. And he goes in the house, and Trubel's running. She does because she might be a Grimm, but she could still die from a bullet.
Yes.
And he corners her. And that's when he makes his fatal mistake. And he tries to what's he going to do? I guess eat her or something?
I feel like he was going to claw at her.
Maul her.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the word I'm looking for.
Do nothing like the rustic wholesomeness of working with one's own hands.
Yes, exactly.
But that's when he vogues and sees that she's a Grimm.
But did you see, like, he takes the gun, he's like, I'm going to do this way. And he starts putting the gun in his back, but then they show Trubel, and she's got one hand behind her back.
Yep.
Does that not look suspicious? Like,
I
what is
don't
she
think
holding
he's
there?
thinking about it. I think she could just be, like, holding herself up.
No, she
like
was
cowering.
reaching for.
She was like,
But I don't
shot.
think my point is, I don't think that he picked up on
Yeah.
it. And that's when she goes full Grimm and is just with her machete just chops his head off in one swing.
It was beautiful.
That was badass.
It was.
Such badassery. I
I clapped, actually, in my home, alone.
But so she knows what's up, and like she has to get that bottle to Nick, and she doesn't think about anything else. She takes the captain. She calls 911, takes the captain's keys, and gets the F out of there.
I was really impressed that she called 911.
Ugh,
Honestly,
yeah.
I thought that either she would do it from the road or something. I just didn't expect. I don't know why I didn't expect her to call 911. I thought she would just go.
I mean, she knows that it's Nick's boss, like somebody that Nick presumes, and the fact that he's there with like the
Something
bottle
to help.
means that he has knowledge of who Nick is. So I think with those pieces, she intrinsically trusts him and wants to help him. Trouble's coming around to be like a fully good person who like cares for others.
Yeah.
Now that she's in a comfortable position.
And I love that. I love that we're seeing her really evolve.
Yeah, it worried me at first because I was like, oh no, she's getting too comfortable. It's all going too well. But I think we're gonna have her around for a while because as she goes to the wedding with the green juice or whatever, the potion that had been brewed.
The reverse polyjuice potion.
Yeah. Or it was the polyjuice potion. It was just
He pulled it out. He got it out of that.
yeah. I
Right.
think that's the idea. Is he has to drink the potion that affected him.
Right.
And then she busted the wedding at the worst possible time.
Ooh.
'Cause
They were all starting to-
everyone's getting emotional, so they all are like doing their little head waggle, which I feel like a lot of people would start to notice that tick at a certain point
Yeah.
when people are voguing. They're like, why does everybody at this wedding have the same tick where their necks just like move around?
Well, I mean, the people at the wedding, aside from Juliette, Hank, and Nick,
Yeah.
were all vested.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that like, and we got a moment of this because after Trubel busts in, everyone notices, everyone sees that she's a Grimm, and Nick is just like, no, she's a friend, but like nobody is listening. All they see is Grimm.
Yeah.
Most of them don't have that connection with Nick. So I feel like some of them must know, because like you do have all the ice beaver guys, like they all know, they've all met Nick.
Yeah.
Like Bud's people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of Bud's family knows who Nick is.
Yeah, but Bud, I think, was the only one at the wedding.
No, he had a friend with him. Either way, and then there's a couple other people, like the mouse vesson that we saw. They've interacted with Nick, a few of them, but nobody can stop them because you have lots of. There's too many vets in there to name, and we got that great one shot of like them all, like we see them all in Vogue state, and then we see them in Nick's because Nick can't see the vesson. They're like, Nick's like, what are you talking about? Nobody's vogued here, and then. But you see that shot of like all the vesson like doing their like threatening thing, but as humans, and it's kind of silly.
Yeah, it was.
It was nice.
It's like, but that's what I'm wondering, like all the voguing, like with the neck rolls and stuff. What does that look like when they're human?
So it's like somebody popping their neck, like.
Yeah, just constantly whenever they're emotional, their like necks are just twitching to the side. But they take Nick into the back there because Nick's like, "What are you guys talking about? No one was vogued there," and of course the bottle's broken. So. And she's like, your captain got shot. Hank's like, what the captain got shot? He's like, what? Let's not skip over that part. But they have to because Nick is, all of a sudden, I thought he was going to like be out of breath or something with his super. And he not only has he lost like his Grimm powers, he lost his like super Grimm.
Yeah.
Powers. So he's like reverting from like super state to nothing. Not like he's double what trouble. Double what trouble.
Double trouble.
And now he's powerless. He is no longer Grimm. He can't see Monroe. And I thought it was perfectly summed up in that one moment where they're in the car driving away from all this because they have to get out of there. And Trubel just looks at him with this look of panic. And it's like, you really couldn't see him?
And she was really sad and like confused, like, oh my God, my teacher.
I don't think it was as much sad. She's frightened.
Yeah.
Because Nick is the only person who's been able to show her this world that she's a part of. She's her doorway into being what a Grimm is, what vesson are. Like, he saved her from thinking she was crazy. And now he's incapable of doing anything. Like, he's powerless. And that is just, there's so much that they're setting up as we go forward.
And they preempted it earlier. Remember, Trubel asked, she said, if you could be a Grimm, if you could choose to be a Grimm, would you? And he was like, well, it'll definitely change my life. And there was kind of like a little go back and forth with it. Because it does have some good and some bad. So.
Because, like, even, there's just, every moment of this episode was powerful. That's why I thought it was so good, is that it was nonstop. Because at one point, Juliette is like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your fault, but I don't know if I can handle this anymore.
And the one thing that we skipped is when the police come to the house.
Yes. Well, we're going to get into that now, is because there is an investigation going on. I mean, there was a double murder, or a murder and an attempted murder, because Renard is still alive when Wu in the ambulance shows up. They load him into the ambulance, and at one point he's coughing up blood into the oxygen mask, and I don't know if he's going to make it. We'll get into our thoughts on that in predictions, but then Wu goes upstairs, and there's like a lot of weird stuff happens in this house, Well, Nick's a cop. He deals like he has enemies. You make enemies as a cop, which is true.
Yeah.
But what you don't normally have as a cop is drawings of a swang in your bedroom. Oh. And Wu finds it, and there's this look of just like, oh my God.
Wu's clues.
I mean, Wu, at that point, he had, like, hiding it from Wu is done.
Yeah.
It's over.
They need to bring him in. He's going to bring himself in.
Well, now that Nick... Well, why don't we just go into predictions, because so much to talk about.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
predictions. It was like extra spooky this week.
Yeah.
Mind blown
Exactly.
by everything in this. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna pat myself on the back here because I called it. I called this ending. Next season, what is set up, what we're basically looking at is, as I said last week, old sports coach Nick. He's like joints are all broken down. He can't quite play anymore.
Get out there, kid.
But you're gonna be the best there is. I believe in you. Now get out there and cut that guy's head off.
I'm gonna disagree because we've seen the last season started with the zombie thing, and we thought that was gonna be a huge thing, and it was done within an episode and a half.
Yes, but that was a little bit of a shift, and like Nick was sick, and they got him better. This, I think, is such a big power dynamic shift in the hierarchy, and because of the introduction of Trubel, it's already changing the dynamic. I mean, I believe he will eventually get his powers back. He has to, but I think that they're gonna. I think we spend at least half the season with Nick trying to get his powers back, and Trubel having to essentially fight his battles for him.
I'm going to put it on the board. I say no more than 4 episodes next season until he gets his powers back.
Okay.
That's my prediction on that.
I'm saying 6 to 9.
All right.
Then that range, that's where he gets his powers back. But
5.
Done.
Closest without going over win.
All right.
But so we get, there's so much.
Yes.
Like, in this episode, like, do you think Renard is alive?
He better be. I'm not ready to lose a character on this show.
It was if it was his death scene, it was powerful to see him go out that way because it was so shocking.
But if it was his death scene, I would have rather just ended it like right then and there, not leave
As
us
opposed
waiting.
to drawing it out.
Season 4, episode 1, we come in on him dying.
It's true.
They
It's
should have
true.
just done it at
It
the
could
end.
come in on his funeral.
Oh,
Yeah, we could open
That's
on
good.
Renard's funeral. That's a powerful moment.
yeah.
I personally,
That'd be a hell of an opener.
there are too many unanswered questions about him and the Royals.
Which can be investigated as he's dying.
I don't want him to die. That's all. He can't die. I heard via Twitter, and I don't know if it's true, that Meisner will be back next season.
I saw that there's a rumor he'll be back. I mean, you got to figure he would be. He's probably tracking down Adalind and like trying to smack some sense into her. Yeah, because she went off to Vienna.
Yep.
Back to where she's going to get a rude awakening that Victor does not have her baby.
Yeah.
So it's going to become Adalind and the Royals working to find Kelly. And
They don't know that Kelly has her.
but they may not be looking for her, but they are looking for her.
Yes.
I mean, I think she'll be back at some point next season with a toddler or a
9-year-old.
teenage
Yeah,
child.
or a teenager.
I feel like that's got to be where they're going. I'm so excited,
I think Trouble's sticking around
guys.
for a while.
Let's. Yeah, I think Trubel isn't going anywhere anytime soon. She's a great character. All the cast talks about how they love working with Jacqueline Tabani.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much, everyone listening. My panel. This has been so much fun to do.
Yeah.
I've been watching this show since they first aired the pilot, and I've been a big fan. And this has been my first chance to talk with anybody about it, like
I
at
know,
length,
same.
which is so much fun. It was the first panel that I got to do as a lead host, so this show means a lot to me, and having all you guys listen all season has been so much fun. So thank you. I can't wait to come back in the fall. Yael, where can the people find you online if they want to keep up with you between seasons?
Over the summer, you can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. And on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Also, shout out to Siren's Boudoir for the styling. More info on that on Yael.tv. And follow me so that over the summer, I apologize, I'm going long, I'll be at Comic-Con with the cast stalking them. So keep an eye out.
And you can find me on Twitter at Dillon Chance. And like Zach said, thank you guys very much. This show is great, and I love it.
You guys can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all those places at that Zach Wilson. You can also, I'm going to be doing a few shows this summer, so you can catch me on Dominion, The Leftovers, and The Strain. Lots of fun stuff this summer. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.